Welcome back. Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast studios. And in studio is a guest that should have been here.
Oh,
So I've
boy.
said it before, but definitely when you think about a lot that I've done and travels I've made,
My
it's
God.
been a lot of people that have decided to roll on journeys from before Detroit is Different even existed. Back when I was jumping around and putting words together that rhyme and
Yeah.
doing other types of
Yeah.
events and
Yeah.
whatnot. So the family's intertwined. So
Yeah.
it's like people be like, that's my sister. It's like my sister, my sister.
Yeah.
But along with that, just so many things in business, community, and let's see, the bonds just go back far.
A
Go
lot.
back
Yeah.
far.
It does. It does.
So y'all hear the voice. One of the best people. One of
Oh,
my
my.
favorite laughs. It makes my goofy laugh kind of have some type of balance.
Amen.
Orena Perry, how you doing?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Oh, I like that. I'm good. I'm good. It's
Good.
taking long enough.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It has.
Orena don't like being on the mic.
I don't. I don't.
I know. See, that's why it's taking long enough. But glad to have you in studio.
Thank you for having me,
Mhm,
my brother. I appreciate
definitely.
that.
All right. So much. This is going to be so fun.
Okay.
And we going
I
to
hope so.
start. We're going to start like we always start with
Okay.
Detroit stories.
Okay.
You do a lot of things,
Mm.
acquisitionist,
Yeah.
putting business stuff together, events
Yeah.
and planning and whatnot. But they all start with origins to my city. How
Yes.
deep is your roots, your family? How deep y'all been in the city of Detroit?
Well, been in the city of Detroit for decades, actually. Goes as far back as my great grandmother, Eloise King, not too far from here, stayed on Calvert, right off
Mm,
of Hamilton.
okay.
Um, and she birthed my grandmother, of course, Mary Louise Matthews at the time, and now she was little before she transitioned.
Condolences.
She was over on 15th. So
Okay.
we stayed in the hood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about great grandma's house.
Oh boy.
Do you remember there?
Oh yeah, my brother is still in the family. So my brothers own the house now.
Okay.
And we used to go over there. I used to take my children over there actually, so they would get to spend some time with her, the
Mm,
great grandmother. And well that was that was their great. Anyway, so yeah, they got to spend some time with her.
mhm.
We would go down to Eastern Market and pick up some groceries, some produce, as you
Yeah.
would say, and then I would drop by and give her some produce and take her where she wanted to go. If she wanted to go anywhere, she rarely wanted to go anywhere. She was still stuck in her house doing the puzzles.
Mm,
People who still had those little pieces, putting them together. So that was her hobby, along with numbers. Go ahead.
the analogies of life,
Yeah,
putting life together, putting
yeah,
pieces together.
putting pieces together. Yeah.
So before there, what roots? Where did they come from?
Came from North Carolina.
Mm,
Um, and my father's side of family, he was from Georgia.
okay. Whereabouts, North Carolina?
Greensboro.
Okay.
Yeah,
Greensboro, North Carolina.
yeah.
Not a lot of folks from Greensboro make their way up to Detroit. What
Me
was the
neither.
catalyst?
My great grandmother, she just, I think it was her mother that
Mhm.
got her out of there. I just learned this story last year.
Wow.
Funny thing is, we had a reunion, and one of my mother's cousins came up, and she explained that my great grandmother was a mulatto, so she was half black, half white.
Mm.
So all my life, she was always black.
Yeah.
So I had no idea that she had some Caucasian in her
Mm.
DNA, but only to find out it was her mom who was Caucasian, and she didn't. She was kind of like pushed aside because she was messing around with this brother
Mhm.
and had this baby, and moved her on up here.
Okay. And usually I say that because North Carolina usually goes further east, like
Yeah,
New York, New Jersey, Philly, things like
we
that.
have them all on the East Coast, all the way up.
Okay.
all the way up to Jersey. We are up there. Yes.
That's what I was assuming. So to come
Yes.
a little bit further west to Detroit,
Mhm.
that's a little different. Now, Georgia, on the other hand, almost everybody from Georgia or Alabama in Detroit.
Savannah, Georgia, my dad.
Okay.
Um, and he went into the service.
Hmm.
His sister had moved up here, my Aunt Cassie, and he decided to come and stay with her. And
Mm.
there was this pretty young lady named Orena Perry, my mom,
Mm.
that stayed across the street. They stayed on the Boulevard, and he saw her, and the rest is history.
Came over, said some kind words.
Kind words,
That was back when
of course, they was courting.
a gentleman would take his hat off to speak to a lady.
Yes, sir, always.
That's not happening these days.
Depends on the man.
A hat off.
It depends on the person. It depends on the person, but yeah, he did. He actually courted my mom, my understanding, at my Aunt Rita's house down the street.
Mm.
So they was hiding away doing some things, and, he said he was gonna marry this woman,
Wow.
and he did. And they
Spoken
said
into
they was
existence.
married for 51 years before he made his transition in
Wow.
2020.
Condolences.
Yeah.
Wow, that is something.
Yeah, 51 years.
He knew the future.
Yeah, I guess so.
So God bless your father's game. That brought you here.
Yes, that did. I was the
Exactly.
person actually was the first, born grandchild on my mother's side.
Mm. Okay. So oldest.
Oldest,
All
yes.
right, we definitely got to talk about what being the oldest
Oh my god.
puts into play, but we'll get to that
No,
in a minute.
let's not do it.
All right. So before we even get there, let's talk a little bit about that community that you remember. Where did you grow up?
I did grow up on the Boulevard for, my first, I wanna say, 4 to 5 years of
Mm.
life. In fact, I enjoyed it. What I remember of it, there was this, library on the corner,
Hmm.
and the library will always have, like, these summer programs there, and you can go and they had horseback riding in the
For
backyard.
real?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was cool.
The library over there, I'm forgetting the name, on 12th and West Grand?
It was West Grand and Warren.
West Grand, West Warren.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. I
yeah,
know that neighborhood
yeah,
too. That's another
yeah,
Northwestern-ish
yeah.
community.
Yeah, my mom went to,
Western?
yes, she went to
Mhm.
Western, but my aunt went to Chadsey.
Mm.
Well, she got kicked out of Western. That's another story.
Mhm.
So she ended up going to Chadsey, but yeah, both of my aunts went to, Western.
Okay. All right. And horseback riding.
Mhm. Enjoyed it, it was just around in a circle, of course, but it was just the experience, especially as a child when you're 5 years old, you get to go and ride a horse. It's really nice.
And the activities from a library.
Yes, there were
Okay.
library activities, and that's I think the youth miss that right now. They don't have those. People don't go to the library often,
Mm.
and what I'm learning is that they're getting rid of all of the African American studies in the libraries, like, literally depleting them out of the systems, and you could quote me on that. They getting them out of the system, and they are getting rid of the books. So, I encourage people to get their library cards and, ask for those free books because 'cause they're gonna get rid of our history.
Well, definitely, we've spoken, Detroit is different about the impacts of the library and just even the way that a lot of our tax capture systems take a lot of
Yeah.
money that would be dedicated to libraries
Yes.
and spent in development that happens in the city of Detroit. And some of those libraries since COVID-19 have not been reopened,
Yeah.
even to this day. Or if they are open, it's like on slower roads and not as
Mhm.
much access. But you speak about a childhood with a lot of programming from the library and
Yes.
another place of community to gather.
There was a Methodist church also on that corner
Hmm.
across the street from the library who had also programs. So it was just, you had the church, you had the education from the library and the experiences. So started there on the boulevard, but then we moved to St. Mary's,
Okay.
in 1975 or 6, one of those, and, been there ever since.
Okay. What was that community like?
It was mixed. It was a mixed culture. Actually, there were a few, Caucasian people, one across the street directly from me and a couple down the street and around, around the corner, and I went to school with some of everybody.
Okay. All right. So let's talk your school journeys.
Mm.
But even before we get there, during that time, mom and dad, what are they doing?
Dad worked at General Motors, but still he was going to school also.
Hmm.
So he was trying to get a degree in some electronics, doing something with electronics. That's all I can remember. And then my mom was going to school at Mary Grove,
Hmm.
getting an accounting degree, but also working at the IRS.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Working with them people.
She loved it, and they loved her. Like they looked for her when they came to get their taxes done or needed assistance.
Okay.
She did taxpayer assistance. She did some key wrote some punching, some
The
punching
key
numbers.
punching.
Key punching, yes.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
she did a lot of things there.
Okay. So just this whole space of we know in that time, in that era, we're looking at a time with more of a definitely General Motors footprint as I've uplifted. General Motors was
Mm.
at a time in the 60s, 70s, and some of the 80s almost as large as most
Yeah.
big nations. General Motors footprint and what it provided and what it meant. I've said this before in Detroit's different interviews. People that plan to run for president, I would probably say from Nixon on, would meet with the president at General Motors for a
Mm.
blessing.
Wow.
Different time.
Okay.
Huge corporation, like
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah.
And then also the IRS, which had a lot of offices, a lot of federal offices for
Yeah.
the United States of America were based here in the city of Detroit because of the people that were here and also the interest of the automotive industry that was here.
And then in the surrounding areas, you had the others. They kind of supported other states outside of Michigan also, and often the location that you reside in
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily assist with those people that live there.
Well, definitely
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes, because then it's like,
Let me go and run up on them real quick. Yeah,
yeah, I know. It's
so
like,
trying to
hey,
get my money.
exactly. So, but Detroit having an office, so people know a census office was based
Mhm,
here,
mhm.
IRS offices were based here, Federal Reserve office
Yep,
based here,
still here.
it still here,
Yeah.
and many other assets that you would expect of larger metropolises.
And that's the thing, it's in the city of Detroit, it's not in Lansing, it's not in, Ann Arbor, it's in Detroit,
Mhm.
and I think we missed the mark of not embracing Detroit as much as we should.
Yep. Passport office, which is still here, but
Yeah,
oftentimes, yeah, if you wanted a passport in
yeah,
24 hours, Detroit was one of those places you could make it happen.
yeah.
Things have changed a little bit,
Uh,
but the office is still here.
okay.
But at one point in time, it was just a known fact that, people would be driving like, cousins be coming from Ohio, like, I gotta come up to
Now you
Detroit.
gotta go to Chicago.
Yes, definitely.
Say
So,
less.
so at that time, coming up in that neighborhood, what school do you go to for? I know high school, but what before high school? Where you go?
I went to Isaac, Quarry Elementary,
Mm,
located on, Puritan Avenue in Asbury Park.
mhm.
So that's where I went for elementary school, and then I went to Cervity Middle School.
Okay, all right. Right in that footprint neighborhood.
Yes.
What do you remember about like that early school experience as a kid in that neighborhood and just being with the people of the community?
I could walk to school, and it was never a issue or problem. You never was worried about somebody snatching you up or snatching you off the streets until later on in the years. I know, it was 3 of us. It was myself, Crystal, and Latanya, Gary, that would walk to school together,
Mm,
and, to Cerveny especially, but to Query, it was myself and Crystal. So Crystal and I would walk to school together, Crystal Richardson, And, at Query, I had experiences with the arts,
Hmm,
and I enjoyed it. I played the recorder,
hmm.
if if people know what those are. So we played the recorder in elementary school. I sung in a choir, and we actually, made an album
Wow.
while we was in school.
Can we find that album?
I have no clue.
Okay.
I have no clue, but we did. We made an album when we were in school. Um, I had an art class. I had a wood carving class.
Hmm.
There were so many different
All this in elementary.
elementary school.
Wow.
Elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think was just adding all this arts into that school?
I can't tell you what it was. I just know well, I guess with the diverse backgrounds of the people that attended, one, um, and just the fact that, they wanted more for their children
Hmm.
as it relates to education. Yeah.
Okay. All right. From Cerveny, and then I definitely know Cool It.
No, sir.
No Cool It.
No, sir.
Redford.
Yes, sir. Red House. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Huskies all
Why
day.
not Cooley and why Redford?
Ooh. Okay. Well, if I'm being candid, which I normally am,
Mhm.
I didn't wanna have to, fight my way through high school,
Okay.
and because a majority of the people from Cerveny was going to Cooley,
You got that right.
I needed to, change of my atmosphere.
Okay. So Redford, the
Yes.
Huskies.
Yes.
Right now it is a Meyer,
My goodness.
but it does have the post where you see that Redford once stood here.
Yes, it's still there.
Yes.
Yes.
So
It's a
it's
Redford Meyer.
yeah, yeah, Redford Meyer. So Redford for people outside the city, it definitely is an adjoining suburban city to Detroit, but also a Detroit high school with long legacies.
My goodness. And it's goes as far back, I believe, as the '50s. It goes way back.
Mhm.
McNamara, a lot of people attended Redford High School.
Yep, and on
Yeah.
the cusp of bordering many other communities.
Mhm.
What was your Redford experience like?
So in Redford, started off rough
Hmm.
because I had lost my hair.
Oh.
Yeah, in my freshman year, I lost my hair because I had got a jury curl that the lady left the chemicals in too long.
Oh, man, so this was like a real life
Yeah,
situation
it
where it's
was.
like, "Oh,
So I had to have a mohawk before anybody had a mohawk.
are you serious?"
I'm serious, but I rocked it.
And you come in freshman year rocking a mohawk where they're thinking that you
Yeah.
because back then, mohawks was, like, tough culture.
I was Grace Jones for many years,
Mm,
until my hair grew back. And I'll never forget I was bullied in
mm,
high school for the
mm.
first couple of years, and then people started standing up for me, like, "Hey, you're not gonna mess with her," kinda thing.
Okay.
My sophomore year, I hung out with all seniors. Like, I didn't even hang out with the underclassmen at all.
Hmm.
So people thought I was with
The
the
seniors.
seniors. And so going forward, I was like a senior for every class. And then I went on radio. So I was on radio during my, sophomore year. I was on a strong song team reporter on
Okay.
WJLB.
Alright, let's talk a little bit about that whole experience. How did it
Yeah.
happen? What was your interest in it? Paint the
Yeah.
picture.
So I was, just going to high school, and there was a guy named, Mr. Siegel. He taught a social studies class. And I was never in his class. He just noticed me.
Well, you got a mohawk, so you standing out.
Ah. By then, my hair grew back, but
Okay,
nonetheless,
but still.
he noticed who I was, and he was asking like who would like to go on radio, to represent the school,
Mhm.
and that the teachers nominated. And so I was nominated to go on radio to represent Redford High School.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do you know the teacher that so Mr. Siegel was the teacher that
recommended
nominated
you.
you
Yeah.
just from him observing.
Just seeing me in the halls, speaking, saying hello, being kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then you end up in this group that's connected to WJLB.
What is, the Strong Zone Team Reporters?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually, not in a group, but solo because I would do it by myself,
Mhm.
and, they would record me, and it was so funny because I tried out as the voice for, "Is that strong enough for you?" You
Mm.
know that part where they say that, "Is this strong enough for you?" And so, Mason and, Tuna was like, "Come on in here and try this." And I was like, "Eek." But, I tried it. My voice wasn't kinda sexual enough for it, I think. Sultry, I say sultry.
There we
Sultry
go.
enough
Mhm.
for the sound, so because it was still young, still developing, so, even now, I don't think I could say it because I sound kinda pitchy, like I said, I sound pitchy.
Here we go.
That's why I don't be on the microphone.
You sound amazing.
Pitchy, go ahead.
Okay. So
I'm hearing myself, go ahead.
here we go. Arena. You see why? You see why?
This
'Cause
is why it
Arena's
took
gonna
so
let you know.
long, this is why. Go ahead.
Amazing. We love it. We love it. Especially the laugh and the smile. You hear it. You hear it. So with this, you are, I'm guessing, as I say, a group, there are different reporters from every school, correct?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever meet the other kids from the other schools?
Couple, I remember meeting a Singletary, I wanna say he was from Kettering,
Mhm.
High School, towards my senior year, someone joined me on air, and I can't remember his name, but he joined me on the air during my senior year because I ended up going out for a car accident.
Mm.
I had a real tragic car accident, and, almost took me out of here for sure.
Wow. Well, that's
Yeah.
a blessing and prayers up.
Yeah. Amen.
Mm.
Yeah, so I wasn't supposed well, no, I was supposed to be here, that's why I'm
You
still
got that
here.
right.
So and, I was out of school for about 3 months
Mm.
from this accident Christmas Eve of '87.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Jimmy, his name was Jimmy.
Okay. So during this time of, and that's senior year, you said.
Mhm.
So now you're a senior and you're dealing with healing from this.
Yes.
Mm.
A woman hit me in Livonia. We were just finishing our, Christmas caroling,
Hmm.
and it was, I wanna say it was about 7 of us in a car, and I was driving.
Hmm.
And I pulled out in the middle of, Middle Belt, just north of Plymouth Road. We were, going to a Old Country Buffet,
Hmm.
which is now closed, and, it was closed. So we were pulling out of the driveway, and the ladies hit the car, and it literally, if you saw the car, the driver's side was pushed all the way side over to the passenger door.
Wow.
So everyone was saying there was no way I shoulda got out or we shoulda got out that vehicle.
Wow.
And a couple of people had to have multiple surgeries. I had no surgeries.
Are you
I
serious?
had a chest tube
Mm.
where they had to,
Feed.
get the fluid off my lung,
Mm.
and, that was the extent of and I just had to heal. All of my ribs were broken.
Mm.
My heart was bruised, my shoulder blade shattered, and my pelvic bone cracked.
All of this, I know that your parents were thinking to themselves, "Oh my gosh."
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
family just in all of this prayer. And
Mhm.
then you're thinking prayer, but also this my senior year.
Well, I wasn't thinking my senior year, I'll be honest
Man,
with you. I was just
thinking
I
survival.
wanna live
Okay.
just a day longer.
Okay. So
Yeah.
from in that healing,
Mm.
and in that process and in the steps that it took,
Yeah.
I know that has to impact the way you see life moving forward.
Oh, come on. You can't take anything for granted. You can be here today and gone tomorrow, or here today and gone the next minute. Like, nothing can be taken for granted. And because of that, I have gotten proposed to in the hospital
Hmm.
and accept the proposal, of course. And
Okay.
so I got married right out of high school.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. What was that like?
Interesting. I mean, it was it was I had eloped, so we didn't nobody knew, so we had went and I had been engaged, so everybody knew about the engagement, but they didn't know we had went and got married because we kept living like we weren't married.
Yeah.
He would go home, I would go to my parents' house, and then finally my brother spilled the beans on me, so
Oh, man, I'm sure that was an interesting family discussion.
oh, it was definitely more than interesting.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what heightens the term interesting, but yes, let's go up 2 notches.
Well, I could tell you, I mean, I'm very transparent with this story. We went bowling, me and my husband was arguing, but I had my brother with me, and so my brother was like, "Hey, what's going on here?" So he called my dad. My dad came and got us. My dad was like, "Well, what's going on?" I blew it off like it wasn't nothing. Then my brother's like, "'Cause they married." And, I was like, "Gee, so
Oh, man, little
Pete,
brother snitching. It's like a
geez, so Pete." Word got back. My dad really just was silent. It was a silent ride. Made it. He said, "Talk to your daughter." So my mom
mm,
got the word while we was arguing and packed all my things in a garbage bag and told me call my husband, come get me.
mm.
That was the extent of that journey.
Oof, that's a start.
It was a
So
start.
so so clearly families come back together.
Oh, absolutely. You can't stay mad forever.
Mhm.
And I explained everything of why we did it the way we did it and everything, and they didn't understand it, but they were okay with it after. I mean, what else can you do
Okay.
once they make that move? And, this is so funny that I'm even telling this story. I'm like, "Why am I sharing this?" But nonetheless, I was able to, that's when I was able to birth my first child, Delilah.
Ah, shout out to Lila.
Lila and Dez. Dez is the second one, of course, but yes.
Shout out Des. Both of them.
Yeah, well, it
Amazing.
was years later after the yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so with that, your thought process from this, healed up, now
Mhm.
married,
Yes.
what's your focus on what you wanna do? What are you thinking? What's your approach towards
Well,
everything I know you as in business and networking and
I knew
yeah.
I wanted to do some never knew I wanted to work for myself until I figured, if I'm gonna work for somebody, why not me?
Mm,
Um, and I had went to school. I call myself a lifelong learner. So I would continue to go to school. I would go to any kind of school that was open and free to me. And there was a program at Wayne State where I could do word processing, and they taught you typing and everything, and they paid you to come.
hmm,
So definitely got that certification from them, and then from there I went on to undergrad. I was Detroit College of Business at the time,
hmm,
and I was majoring in marketing at the time.
hmm.
So my professor was it? It was the same name of a drink. Oh, I can't think his name right now, but he encouraged me to keep pursuing it because he felt like I was, very good at it.
Talented.
Yeah. So I went into and then it changed its name from Detroit College of Business to Davenport University
Hmm,
before I graduated. And I was like, "Dang, I wanted Detroit College of Business," but I'm a Davenport University graduate. And then I said, well, I'm going to keep going.
hmm.
So I went to Phoenix, University of Phoenix, and got my master's.
Okay. So during this time, the thought process is learning more of these skills in
Yes.
business and adding to this suite of services you can offer.
Yeah. Well, I've always been a servant just as a child. I always wanted to serve and always wanted to give and always wanted to work for people. And, I started that in the church. You could say as early as high school because I would do vacation Bible school, so I was one of the coordinators or, directors for vacation Bible school, and I would direct the songs and, get the information for the teachers and get all of their, supplies for all of the activities, and make sure they had lunch. Just I was always doing that.
Mhm.
And because it would begin that way, people would ask me to do other things. Can you help me with my wedding? Can you help me with my birthday party? So I would just do it because it was just a part of who I was.
So, in those experiences of
Hmm.
you doing it in the church, because oftentimes we're learning these skill sets
Yeah.
in spaces that aren't necessarily what we consider the business world,
Right.
though they're business skills.
Yes.
When do you start making the connection that this is really what I like doing and I could see a career path in this?
I think it was when I started working with the Detroit Black Expo.
Hmm.
And working with the Detroit Black Expo and watching all of these entrepreneurs and seeing their businesses grow or develop, um, I think that's where it began for me. And then I started what was called Jazz on the Boulevard. And when we did Jazz on the Boulevard, it was right at the hotel there on the St. Regis Hotel. And when the Comerica uh, Taste Fest would end, we would start.
Okay. Now, you
Let me correct that. Yeah, when they ended, I started, yes.
you take us back to a snapshot in time where we meet
Yeah.
originally.
Yes.
International Detroit Black,
Expo. Yes.
yes, Black Business Expo. The vision and the concept behind this, definitely someone with a lot of drive, another Capricorn person, like such as myself. I meet Ken Harris and
Yes.
he's talking about this project
Mhm.
maybe 4 or 5 years before it comes to life, and he's
Yes.
continuously talking about this
Yes.
project and bringing other people around the project, and I'm thinking to myself like, "Damn, he was talking about this, he was talking about this." Then it's like one day he's like, "Yeah, it's gonna happen, it's gonna be at Cobo
Yeah.
Hall. You're working with the Michigan Citizen, you can probably you let's hook this up and let's
Yeah.
get working together on this."
Yeah.
Then I meet you.
And it's funny because, with the Detroit Black Expo, we started monthly events, and that was one of the things that I would help develop is our monthly events, and we would, target specific topics for business owners. And, moving forward, that's how the expo began is from our smaller events.
Yeah, at the Charles
Mhm.
Wright Museum, there were
Mhm.
a series of those
Yes.
events. A lot of
Yes, Seldom
times
Blues.
Seldom Blues.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of those times you would
Yeah.
definitely say you need to meet this person and that person
Yes.
or this person and that person.
Connect them up. Yeah.
So during this, let's talk about you getting connected to it. When did you first hear about the Black Expo?
Through the Jazz on the Boulevard.
Okay, so Jazz on the Boulevard was your connection to it.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
they actually came and visit and, wanted to be a part of it and, not be a part of it, but just join the atmosphere and meet other people and network.
Mm,
And it was a networking type of an event because it was an after work event. It was from 5 to 9. We highlighted, local artists here in Detroit, and, we had Arlene Roundtree, Gwen Fox with Great Dokes, Notorious, what is Quarter to Midnight,
mm.
I had, like, a rotating group of people that had the saxophone player, the Yancy performing. It was a great time.
Okay. All right. And the vision now, I guess let's get a little bit more into that because if that connects to that,
Mhm.
what brought you to the vision of bringing the jazz on over there?
It was actually started by Ophelia. Ophelia Twine Henry, brought me into it, and she knew I knew artists, and, she wanted to do some she was working at the hotel at the time, and we joined together and made it happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You and West Grand, it's like a connection.
It is. I stay on Graham on the Boulevard on it.
Exactly. It's like it's a connection right there. All right. So during that time, Black Expo,
Mhm.
whole different look,
Yes.
whole different feel.
Yeah.
Now you're working with a lot more business
Oh
personalities.
my god. It was so many different people, celebrities as well. We had our John Sallys to show up to come to our events. We had, Dick Gregory to come to our events. We had, JJ come to our we had so many different people to come to the Detroit Black Expo events, and, uh, it was a good time for me, and I enjoyed it, the learning experience working with Dr. Harris.
Yeah. So then, uh, as this is happening,
Yeah.
what's the feel of family, children? What's their look as they observe you
Mm,
really, I guess, move from this space of starting with the partnerships and in
mhm.
business events to now really jumping full throttle and interacting with so many entrepreneurs?
It's so funny because during the first Detroit Black Expo, if you had a program, they're on the cover of the program
Hmm.
as little kids. So they were firsthand watching me do all of this. So they were participants even when they didn't want to. They had to
Hilarious.
volunteer and they would work along my side, and I have a daughter, Joyce, who's in Tennessee, who's now working with Dale, and she's always been a person who can sell.
Hmm.
She said she could sell anything.
Hmm.
So I remember one time this guy came to fix my stove, and she was selling something for school, and she sold him some cups. And I'm looking at her like, "He here to fix my stove. What are you doing?" She was like, "He got money. I need him to buy these cups." And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh my god." So now she's, working with, Dell Computer. She was working at the US Bank
Hmm.
and doing business services there, and so she's doing quite well now. I have, Delilah, who's now working with the state. Delilah is my hands-on second right hand person that gets people kinda signed up with our company and making sure that all our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted. So and then Desiree is our creative mind. She is our creative mind. She creates everything. The way the place looks, all of our centerpieces, whatever is required.
So
And
so
they
s
collaborate on that, her and Delilah.
and seeing all of this, I guess, what would you share for a lot of parents that have younger children and are thinking as they venture into entrepreneurship? What impacts have you seen that make? Because I always uplift that some of my view of entrepreneurship has so much to do with seeing it as a child.
Mm. Well, my mom wasn't an entrepreneur. I think my dad had it in heart because he wanted to invent something and have a patent,
Mhm.
but he never had the chance to do that because he was working, trying to take care of family. But for me, seeing my children, I think they have they don't really wanna do the event part of it, but they do want to do, the entrepreneur part of it.
Mhm.
And I think, the event part of it is like a stepping stone for them to do what they desire to do. Like with Delilah, she's starting a program for autistic children.
Mm.
And so she's working to start this program to mentor autistic children so that they'll be able to perform in the arts. So they'll learn how to play music, how to draw, and things of that nature. So she's trying to bring on mentors for that. Whereas the Desiree, she does all the website design. She does all of our creative designs for our centerpieces. So she does unique custom centerpieces depending on what the people are asking for.
Definitely.
She makes those dreams come true.
She also designed the ballot box for the college game cook-off, amongst other things we'll get to, and
Oh, the
other
football
things.
thing.
And the
Oh,
football
don't
for My
forget the
Mom's My
football.
First Fan, that
Yeah,
was amazing.
yeah,
Just the creativity,
yeah.
and I definitely would say, I don't know if they explicitly say it, but seeing a parent that's an entrepreneur does impact a lot of how you pace yourself towards knowing to manage a business. Not saying that it makes it easier per se,
No.
but it makes it a lot more of an understanding of the ebb and flow of it.
And you can appreciate it more. And you understand that it's a grind, that it's not something easy.
Mhm.
Yeah, they've seen me grind.
And as you talk about the grind and the wins and the
Mhm.
lessons that you learn, because
Yes.
no losses, it's lessons. So the wins and the
I
lessons
like it.
that are taken on this path in entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
what how have you how have you navigated the space, because you know so many people? Your network is so full,
I hear people tell me that. Go ahead. Listen, I'm listening.
and you have relationships with a lot of people.
I know people.
Yeah, you know people. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
Relate.
relationship, but you know
Yes,
people.
sir. Yes, sir.
So how do you navigate knowing people, and how do you navigate the when to build the relationship?
Well, you have to know the energy too. So everybody I know, I'm not having a relationship with. I just know them,
Mhm.
and vice versa. And then what to I don't want to use the term gain, but that's the for lack of a better term, I'll say gain from that relationship. Um, you never want to take anybody for granted, nor do you want to misuse an opportunity. I have been able to develop some relationships based upon how I treat people and I want to be treated. And I think that's one of the keys to having great relationships with people is knowing how to treat them, number one, and not accepting anything less than what you give
Mm.
in the relationship. So, um, when it comes to business relationships, you have to know what waters to tread and watch. Watch first before you just jump in.
I want you to expand upon that watch first. What are you looking for
Mhm.
when you watch?
It's not that you're looking for anything, you're just waiting to see if anything changes, if there's a change in behavior, if it's a change in the way they speak. Is there a change in how they react to you in different environments? Just wait.
Mm.
You don't just jump on because they have this position or because they can do X, Y, or Z for you. I mean, how does that work for you in the end? And are they gonna use it against you? What's the motive behind it? You have the right motive in your heart.
Okay. So speaking to observing and watching the character.
Yes. Character is important. Integrity is important. And then what do you want to attach your name to?
Hmm.
That's even more important.
Okay. So over this time in this
Yes.
landscape, now other iterations, other opportunities.
Yes.
What's the scope? What's the focus right now? What are you most excited about in business?
Right now, just watching my children grow.
Hmm.
You know, what I have learned is it's not about me. I'm just one of the paths in which, people can have a part to see what I do, but it's more about my children. It's more about how they grow. It's more about what they instill in their children or the people around them and how they're creating the impact. It's not so much about me. And that's what is I think is the more important for me is to see other people impact other people.
Okay. All right. So along with that, other
Yeah.
people impacting other people,
Yeah.
as you said, their children. Grandma
Yeah.
Orena,
Queenie, go ahead. I'm listening.
Queenie.
Yes.
So so now as you witness that, what is that experience like for you?
For my grandchildren or for me
Just
being a Queenie?
witnessing being Queenie,
Yeah.
watching your children raise
Yeah.
some children as they're navigating business spaces.
Well, I learn a lot from my children, believe it or not. They have been able to show me a different side of me,
Hmm.
some of which probably shouldn't have never been there that needed some correction.
Hmm.
They've also shown me where I could have done a little things a little differently with them, based upon how they are with their children.
Mhm.
Not that I did a lot of things wrong. I did the best I could. But it's just I've learned so many different things, just watching my children with their children and just watching them in general, just being good people.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would say that definitely knowing them,
Yes.
You've done one hell of a successful job.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes. I will never say I did it alone.
Mhm,
I never say I did it alone. I was a single mom, but I never did it alone.
mhm.
I had a village. I had a good village too.
Yep, yep. I've at times, we do some creative stuff together
Yes.
from time to time,
Yes.
performances and whatnot.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Alright, so now I guess we gotta get into the creativity of if the if the children are the focus now,
Mhm.
you're still active in other spaces.
I am. I still have the women's, conferences. I'm still doing women luncheons and activities. I wanna branch off into doing some things for the men,
Mhm.
and I had someone approach me, a funny thing, today about that, and, I have it written. I just haven't executed yet.
So, women's conferences, and you've done a
Mhm.
lot of different iterations of things,
Mhm.
brunches and
Mhm.
a lot of connections. Shout out to Crystal, what she's
Hey, Miss
done.
Gunn. Yes.
So I need to we gonna do some
I
more
got
creative stuff.
yeah.
So with that being said, what do you think is have you seen at least from the outside in so empowering about bringing
Mm.
those spaces of women around business and networking together?
The testimonials, just hearing them, kind of tell me how they needed that, or they didn't even know they needed that until they got it.
Hmm.
And that happened during my breakfast. I had a prayer breakfast, and, just a couple of months ago, and the lady said, "I didn't even know I needed that, but I needed this." And, it was just an opportunity for women to breathe.
Hmm.
Just take a moment and breathe.
Hmm.
Don't try and do anything but sit still and breathe, and that's what I wanted them to do, and it was empowering. It was good to see. Um, Now we're walking into, "What you doing?" "What you doing?" I really wanna know, so that's the luncheon that's coming up next, so we can talk about that. Like, are you aligning yourself? What are you doing?
Hmm.
And it's time for us to question ourselves versus somebody else questioning us.
Okay.
Mhm.
Self reflection.
Yes.
So, inside this self reflection and even just that moment to breathe, let's go there
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
What's the disconnect where you think that a lot of women working in the space, building their business, may not necessarily take that time for reflection?
Because we're so busy in it. We're into it so much and so deep, and so, we're so rooted in it that we don't take time out to say, "Pause. Just pause." And had you really thought about that, or had you really, um, dug deeper on that issue or on that thought, on that creativity, on whatever it is that you're working on? Or are you just existing or are you just moving?
Hmm.
So sometimes you just gotta take a pause and kinda self-reflect, and then also think about what you're doing. Let's think about that. Does it make sense? Or are you just doing it just to be doing something?
Hmm. And that same concept, I would say, as you say, what's the next move?
Yeah.
What's going to be a piece connected there? What's the catalyst? What do you see pulling from that?
From, right now, from the speaking of the luncheon that's coming up, so from the luncheon, it is for them to not only self-reflect, but to take something and say, "Okay, this is where I need to start. I know this is what I've been doing, but maybe I need to kinda erase the board and start again."
Hmm.
Or maybe I should kinda look at this a little deeper instead of just acting on it. Or, um, maybe I should just wait a minute.
Hmm.
Maybe so we're talking about our, taking time for mental health. And I know everybody's saying mental health, mental health. Yes, because it's a necessity right now.
Hmm.
So many people are stressed out. So many people are killing themselves. More of African Americans are killing themselves than ever before. And I'm like, that was like an omen for us. to kill yourself? Like, that was never a question,
Mhm.
but more people are doing it, and you have to question, like, why? So we were talking about that whole mental health piece, taking time for that, taking time out with God. A lot of people have put God on the shelf
Mhm.
and said, I'll get back to him, or he's fine. He got me. But he got you in what though? You know what I'm saying? And where do he have you? And what are you doing with it? And so, are you listening to him? Are you sitting still so you can hear him? Sometimes he's speaking to you. Are you listening?
Mm.
So you have, and then we're going to be talking about taking time for yourself, because often when you always got people around you, that means people are in your ear, or people are pulling on you, or people are asking you to do something. Just take some time out and be by yourself, and the importance of that. And then the importance of having relationships, but having healthy relationships, because all relationships aren't good.
True indeed. And oftentimes in those moments of silence, though,
Yeah. You can hear.
certain people that fear the silence for what will be heard.
Yeah. But sometimes you need to hear it. Now, what you do with it is up to you, but you have to listen. You have to hear what's being said.
Hmm.
Now, you could choose how to handle it from that point on, but at least sit still so you can hear something instead of your same voice, instead of your own voice. Because if you talk all the time, you write all the time. I say that often.
Yeah.
You talk all the time, you write all the time. So you don't need nobody to tell you anything because you talking.
Hmm. So definitely in that space of prayer, meditation, and silence
Yeah.
come the internal reflections, I believe, and I lean in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm leaning in that space is because others have shared their wisdom about what that gives.
Okay.
Though, as I speak to that, that silence
Yeah.
definitely heightens whatever the
Mm.
noise and the confusion is, even the mindfulness of meditation,
Mm-hmm.
finding that space in it to focus in mindfulness of now, as opposed to, I'm definitely not a psychologist, but I make this make sense to me. The depression often,
Mm-hmm.
if I have to make sense of it, is what's unresolved and angers and
Mm.
traumas about what happened
Mm.
before.
Mm-hmm.
And the anxiety
Mm-hmm.
is the angers, the pressures of what we feel could happen in the future.
You,
And,
go ahead.
and the presence of now and that mindfulness in silence, prayer, and meditation through mindfulness can center you more in now beyond those responses to what we think it could happen or analyzing what did happen, but more so centering on how will my response be to the happenings around me.
Which is why it's important to have a relationship with God, because He asks you to cast all of those cares upon Him. We try and carry it ourselves as if we created ourselves.
Hmm.
We didn't create ourselves. We were shaped in His image. So everything about Him is a reflection of Him. Everything about us is a reflection of Him. And so when we have these feelings, or that we're dealing with, we can carry them to directly to. It's just like this. There's a toy maker, right? And you have a toy maker who creates this a car. Let's say a toy car. He put the wheels on it. He designed the steering wheel. You know what the hood's gonna look like in the trunk. The seats that's inside. Everything about that car, he created it, right? Now, if this car had an opportunity to operate on its own, it would, right? But it can't. So he has to do what? He has to be able to push it. He got to be able to navigate it. It's the same thing with God. We have to allow him to push us and to navigate these waters that we deal with called life.
So, in this space
Yeah.
of strengthening and keeping this relationship through faith,
Yes.
and in the world of business where people
Mm,
look to make everything so logical
mm,
and so formulaic,
mm, mm.
faith is based in belief.
Yes, it is.
Business, people present it as if it's based in logic. I don't think so. Where do you find your balance navigating those spaces?
One of the things, before I start any, program or my conference or the luncheon or the breakfast, I hear, I listen, I pay attention. And, um, a lot of times I'm led by the Spirit. In fact, one of my good friends, Dr. Danielle Cato, when I asked her to be a part of it, she said, "Did you, take time to seek God's face on this? Like, did you talk to him? I think you need to go back to it again and revisit." And I said, "Okay, I can appreciate that."
Hmm,
So I went back and I prayed about it, and that's like, okay, because it needed to have a little bit more structure and order.
hmm,
And it takes a good friend to say, "Hey, come on, wait a minute. You moving too fast." That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you doing? I had to talk to myself. What am I doing?
hmm,
What are you really doing? And so with that being said, I did. I listened to her and I paused.
hmm.
And in the pause, I got my answers.
Wow.
I got my answers. And so even in business, you have to be able to listen. Like he can bless your business. He can tell you when to move. He could tell you when to stop. He can tell you this is over.
Mhm.
But you gotta be able to listen.
Yeah, I follow. I follow. So I would say in learning those lessons,
Yeah. Yeah.
what have been what have been the results that you found that have led you more in that path of walking with that faith balance?
Here's the thing. Um, just like any other human or any other person, I don't always walk in that faith balance.
Mhm,
And I have to be checked or kind of come to myself like, hey, you tripping again.
mm,
Stop trying to do this by yourself. And I've listened to sometimes I listen to people, sometimes I don't.
mm,
And sometimes those are warnings and sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's doubt. And so you have to know the difference between the two. And part of knowing the difference between the two is when you take time to pause and just reflect on those things. Um, I'll take the women's conference, for instance. I had taken a pause on the women's conference because I was like, you know what? I'm losing a lot of money on this thing. People are getting impacted, of course, but how is this helping me? And then that's when I had to come back and say, when was it about you?
mm,
It's a women's conference. So it was never about you. It was always about them.
mm,
So I have to push myself even harder to work further for them
mm.
because I know it's not about me. So whenever you're working your passion, remember what your passion is for. Is it about you? Is it about your fame? Is it about your fortune? Is it about you growing a name out there? Or is it about the people? Are you really trying to create impact and empower others?
That's deep. That's deep. Thank you for sharing that. Most definitely. And with that, now I guess I have to shift in that same scope. So for the men's conference, what are you looking to offer? What will be
Mhm.
what's
So
going to differentiate?
for the men, I want for them to receive, I should not give, but I want them to receive an opportunity to see themselves.
Mm,
So the conference is called In His Image. because before he created after he created the land and the earth and everything else, the only thing that he put his spirit into was man.
Mm,
So he put the breath of life in man. He didn't put it in the animals. He didn't put it in the fish in the sea. He put it in man. And so I want the men to be able to see themselves and know that we see them.
hmm. Well, with that, now is a great time to first off, I wanna thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Not just for what you said, but just for over the years, all that you have given in support of a lot of what I've done.
Ah,
Um,
my brother.
so much. I don't think I've ever called you and it's ever been you've always been giving, always been supportive,
I
even
appreciate that.
from observation of afar, saying, keep going, keep moving.
Yeah.
And because of what I've witnessed and watching you,
Mm,
I know that that's a level of sincerity and in a space of what's genuine that I honor it so much.
mm.
One of the most impactful things that I've done, and I've done a lot of things, and I remember a lot of things, was when, and I don't even know if you remember this, but you were working with a group of young men.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, Kari, you could come speak to these young men. And then I was thinking to myself, like, I don't even do a whole lot of that anymore. But if you say I should, this is my availability, I'm there.
Yeah.
And it was so unique.
The Loop It program.
The Loop It program. It was so unique
Yeah.
to just be interacting with the young men for that period of time, and then seeing you all interact and just seeing the difference in the response. And you kept telling me, like, see, this is where the response is.
Yeah.
So yeah, even to this day, it was one of those spaces and places
Wow.
where I
Wow.
was able to really just see the impact of, like, okay, if position and walking into a space,
Mhm.
in a room with a
Mhm.
lot of young brothers that I'm thinking are in a different space, some of them are connecting
Yeah.
in different ways
You
to
know,
what I'm offering.
and Loop It was a brainchild, when I saw the sagging of pants.
Mhm.
And you can't say, "Hey, I want you to come to this conference because your pants are sagging." You had to give them something different. And so, in doing so, what I did was I decided to, do lifestyle kind of, workshops, and we did it over a period of 4 weeks, and then at the end, they got a belt,
Mhm.
but they knew the importance of having it first. See, it's one thing of giving somebody something, and then it's another thing of telling them why they need it, because if they don't even know why they need a belt, why would they put it on? But we were able to show them, hey, this is how you would look if you go into an interview. This is how you would look if you want to date somebody. This is how you would eat at the table when you would sitting with other people. We just gave them life skills. And then after we gave them life skills, then we showed them, hey, put this on. Why are you doing that?
Definitely, and the whole time, if you definitely see my
Yeah.
energy just because I like hearing Arena laugh, I'm usually joking 80% of
I
the
don't know
time
why.
around Arena.
I don't know why. I really don't know why.
Because you'll laugh.
I try not to.
So yes, and I'm always saying something that's
Yes,
getting
you are.
Arena laughing.
Yes.
So, but even through that program, but definitely, like, staying centered and focused, and you're like, "Yo, come up here. We need you
Yeah.
to come back again," and so many other things. I mean,
Yeah.
we've done a birthday party together.
Yes, I was Coco the kitten.
Yeah, that was
Forgot that.
fun. We did like a cool photo shoot around
Yeah, that was
it.
so cool.
Me, you, Jason, December
Yeah.
birthdays. It was like one of the worst snowstorms, but people still came out.
They did. They showed up.
Yeah,
And I was shocked.
I was too.
'Cause it was snowing real bad.
Yeah, it was at least like 2 feet of snow. It's like
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, Stretch Money, come up." And Stretch Money came, we was rocking.
It was, we had a good time. Oh my god, we had a good time. That was on Broadway, I can't remember the name.
It was, not Burt's on Broadway, the place across the street. I forget.
It was Tandy and, someone else's, spot. Uh, God, I can't remember all their names. It was 3 guys that owned the spot, yeah.
Yeah, and, next to I
French,
just
Will French, William Tandy, it was one more Will, I can't remember his name, go ahead.
yeah, it's I mean, that and so many other things,
Yeah,
assisting with the collard green cook-off. Even this year for the natural hair show or last year's natural hair show, it was like a cleanup day. She was like, "I got a day where I can come up here and clean." And I was like,
yeah,
"Alright." And then you were like, "Okay, we should do this," and I was like, "Alright, come
I
on,
rearranged it, so
let's get down."
it's like, "OP." I was like, we just gotta put this over here, whatever,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
turned out good.
Yeah, it's always been, a learning lesson of how to function and also seeing you the way you've poured in the community ever since I've known you back to like what you say, is it about the people?
Always. We are here for other people, we're not here for ourselves, and we gotta stop being so selfish.
Well, that's
We gotta stop it. We here for other people, period.
definitely serving. So with that, I guess as we get to a close
Yes,
here,
okay.
see you get out the interview.
Thank you, Lord.
We get her out. We're gonna ask the classic questions in a moment.
Oh,
But
boy.
before we get to the classic questions,
Oh,
I was going to say, which this is rare because you know me well enough.
oh, boy.
I don't know if you got a question.
Do I have a question?
Yeah. I'll give you a couple.
Well, Mr. Frazier, you know, you were on my radio show, some years ago, Girl Talk.
Oh man, I do remember that. That was a cool time too.
We were talking about relationships then, you remember that?
Yeah.
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 Since then?
Yeah. Since then, in relationship,
Yes.
I'm locked down.
Listen here, see? I told you what happened, didn't I?
I'm locked
I
down.
told you what happened. You said never.
Yeah.
You said never.
I know. I know.
It
I'm
took a
locked
couple of
down.
decades, but
Me
you
a
did.
lady. Exactly.
Good.
I know.
Very good.
It's like, oh, you understand so much of the other side of the world.
Welcome.
Nah, it's crazy. Zaniness.
Welcome.
Zaniness.
That's the only one I wanted to put out there.
That's the only question.
That's the only one.
Yes, Orena. Yes.
Good. Very good.
Definitely.
I knew the answer. I just wanted you to say it.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'm locked down. Ball and chain. My lady
There's
Erin.
no such thing as a ball and chain.
Hilarious.
Let's not say that.
Hilarious. But yeah, Erin's phenomenal.
Amen.
She's into a lot of the urban ag movement here, but more so than that, just like a balance. Like we're so opposite on a lot of things, but we align on a lot of things too. It's
That's
like
so good.
another side of, like I say, it's like a whole nother side of the world I see, and back to the same thing. And then at the end of the day, we come back together and we laugh, roast each other, and
That's
and
good.
we find a place back together.
Hey, man, I can't wait for the marriage. That's the
Oh,
part I'm
man.
waiting on.
Oh, that's gonna be it's gonna be more roasted.
I'll be the first one with the microphone.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Hey, you was talking mad junk. Look.
No, it's like ball and chain.
Yeah, well, okay.
Hilarious. Hilarious. That was a good episode.
It was.
I need to find the
It
need to
was.
find that audio. So,
I think I might still have to look and see.
yeah, so
My computer crashed, so we'll see.
all right, but yes, there you
Yes.
go. OP.
Yes.
All right.
Very
so,
good. Very good.
So if
So
that's
ladies, leave him alone.
yes.
He got a woman. Go.
Yes. All right. So with that, classic Detroit is different questions.
Oh boy.
First question.
Yes.
Very first car. Year, make, and model. Year you got.
Ooh. It was I'm not sure of the year because the car was given to me by my parents, and it was it wasn't given to me. I was able to drive it, and it was a station wagon.
Okay.
I called it the Green Machine.
Green Machine.
I rode it in high school, and I actually Did I get the ticket in that car?
Mm.
I got a ticket in one of them cars. No, it was the Aries K I got the ticket in. Nonetheless, it was the Green Machine, and I did, ride everywhere in that baby.
Where's the first place you went with it?
To Northland Mall.
Northland.
Northland Mall.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yeah.
with it.
Yep. I would pack people up in that car, but no, my parents didn't know that, but yeah.
Okay. There you go.
You know, now the station wagon, for people who don't know, they had the seats in the back of the trunk that came up where
Mhm.
people could face each other.
Mm.
Did you know that?
No.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
So the back seats would face each other where the people would literally be sitting like this,
Okay.
each other in the back, and it opened up like that, so you can open it up.
Mm.
And then it had a back seat also,
Mm.
and then it had the 2 in the front. Well, it was still a straight, and even on the front.
Okay.
So you could pack a lot of people in that car.
Y'all was rolling deep
And I was in high school, and I loved it.
going
Like,
to
that was my
Northland.
vehicle, and then my dad gave it away
Oh,
to somebody who needed a car.
there you go, pops.
Yeah, he was nice.
Mm.
But he took my car. No, go ahead.
Okay.
That was my first one.
Okay.
It's the station wagon.
Green Machine. I love it.
Yes, the Green
Love it.
Machine. I loved it too.
So,
I would get one today. That's how
okay.
much I liked it. Yes.
Say
Listen.
less. You gonna speak it into
Listen,
existence.
I would get one today.
You gonna speak it into existence.
That baby, if anybody hit that car, they'd be regretting it.
Hilarious.
Go ahead. I'm listening. What's the next question?
You are the DJ at the end of the fireworks. Woodward and Jefferson. You get to play 2 songs. What songs
boy.
you playing?
Jamaica Funk.
Okay. Tom Brown. I'm with it.
Uh, and then I'm playing Thank You by Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Okay. Okay. So we partying a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we get a chill celebratory
Yes.
walk off.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And last question.
Okay.
You could rename Woodward after one Detroiter. Who would it be and why?
Mira Coleman Young.
Why?
I think he was the epitome of one, a black man. Two, he was the face of Detroit. He didn't take a lot of stuff from people.
Not at all.
I think he was kind and fair. People didn't see it that way. I believe that he worked on behalf of the people and not himself, which is why I can appreciate someone else that's running for mayor this year. I won't
Mm.
say who. And then, yes, I will, Ken Lock.
Mm.
And then I believe that Mayor Young he represent what every black man represent, the struggle. He was in the service. He sacrificed his time and his life and his efforts for the people.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so, Mayor Coleman Young, y'all.
He comes up as the most named Detroiter for that.
Hey, he was for the people. He stopped that stress, which they trying to restart. I'ma say that. I know y'all trying to start it. He stopped that from happening in our police departments, and he always you had the downtown Detroit days that always would bring people to the downtown Detroit. Do you know though? You know about that?
Downtown Detroit Day?
Yeah.
Mm.
Ooh. I'm dating myself. So downtown Detroit days, there were sales in all the stores downtown, and you had your Woolworths, you had your Kresge's, you had what was the other one? Hudson's,
Mm.
and you would just go over there and shop for a little nothing, and you get some great deals.
Wow.
It was downtown Detroit days. So y'all need to bring that back. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the way downtown's looking, I don't know how many us gonna be up.
And then, you had at Cobo Hall, there was a Winterfest.
I do remember that.
Oh my God, it
I
was
do remember that.
so nice inside of Cobo Hall.
It was
transform it.
the picture of myself, my big
Mm,
sister Dar and Coleman Young that we all have together. It
okay,
was an announcement for Winterfest.
okay.
So that was I do I'm a kid, but I remember that.
Yes, that was cool. That was so nice. And so those are just some of my memories along with Belle Isle.
Okay.
That yeah, I'll talk about Belle Isle.
Love it. We love it. Need to come back to the city.
Oh, they coming.
Love it. With that being said, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You know I was nervous. You know I don't like being on the
I know.
microphone.
I know. It took a lot for this one. As I say, we was waiting years on this one.
Years.
Definitely. But I love it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Kari.
All right. Peace.